Most people know Cletus McFarland for one thing: loud cars, big burnouts, wild stunts on YouTube. He's the guy who turns cheap junkyard cars into monsters and lights up his tires until they explode. That is the Cletus most fans love. But this week he sat down with Wallace, and he opened up about a side of his life that most fans have never seen. This is the story of a secret that started in a snowy parking lot and ended with a helicopter helping people in a storm. It begins with one simple question. Rusty Wallace turns to Kenny and asks about Cletus. Is that Cletus the real deal? Kenny's eyes get big. He says the guy is so nice. Then he drops the part that stuns people. Cletus flies his own airplane, he flies his own helicopter, and he drifts cars that can hit the wall at any second. Kenny even asks him how one person got so good at so many things so young. Cletus just laughs it off. He jokes that he is still not that great at turning left, but he says he is getting there, and Kenny keeps defending him. He reminds folks that Cletus is still just starting out. So where does all that talent come from? Cletus keeps the answer simple. He grew up in Nebraska, and he learned to drive in the snow. I think the driving abilities that I have been gifted would be mostly a result of snow-covered parking lots in Nebraska growing up. He tore up his high school parking lot for hours. He says if you never did that, he just can't call you a good driver. But he learned one hard lesson. I'm pretty sure I've hit a couple of them babies. He drove gravel roads too. He delivered food for Jimmy John's, and he was always sliding the car sideways. He says he was always wheeling, always pushing it a little bit past the edge. He never really stopped moving. Every drive was a chance to learn something new. Then he tried autocross in his little Subaru. They set up cones in a parking lot. He says he thought he was a full-blown race car driver. From there, he did road course days. He started YouTube and threw a few fishtails around corners. Some guys let him try their drift cars. He raced Champ Car, even 14 hours at Sebring. Then he built his own drift car and taught himself. For Cletus, it all comes down to one thing: energy management. He breaks a car into 4 simple parts: steering angle, rear grip, front grip, and the throttle. That's it. He says you can either feel a car and manage it, or you can't. And for him, it always felt natural. Kenny remembers riding shotgun in Cletus's 1,000 horsepower Cadillac. Kenny is a lifelong racer. He was sure Cletus would lift off the gas too fast and spin them both around, but he didn't. Kenny brags on him for learning to roll off the throttle nice and easy. Cletus says the trick is knowing what the car will do before it does it. You just have to know that you got to bring the wheel straight. He points to beginners in Corvettes. They launch hard, lift off the gas, and snap right into the wall. Cletus learned early not to do that. He learned to be smooth when everything wants to go sideways. NASCAR hands him a brand new problem. The grip is not even. You don't have symmetrical traction on all 4 tires. Those cars are built to turn left, so when the back end steps out and snaps back straight, it feels strange to him. He says it plain. They just don't feel the same as a car with symmetrical grip because they're set up to turn. That's his biggest challenge right now. It is the one thing about those cars that still fights him. Now here comes the secret. The part fans never expect. Cletus is a real pilot, not a beginner, a serious one. He once owned a King Air 200 with his own pilot. When his NASCAR chances slowed down, he sold it. The buyer owned a Subway out of Knoxville, Tennessee, and his whole family grew up in aviation. Flying is in his blood. It always has been. He was raised around planes, so the sky never scared him. It felt like home. Kenny is amazed at how well Cletus talks on the radio to the towers. You taught perfectly. He tells Cletus that most people freeze up on the radio, but Cletus sounds calm and clear every time. So where did all of this start? It started tiny. I've been flying RC airplanes since I was very young. It was the first thing he ever got into. RC planes and helicopters. He still flies them today, just much bigger ones now. He even tells fans to search Cletus RC on his channel. You'll see cool builds, and you'll see him wreck a lot of them. He is honest about the crashes. That is part of the fun. That love pushed him to want a real helicopter. Bad. So when he could finally afford it, he bought a 50% share of one. Then he started learning, and he did not stop. He threw himself all the way into the world of flying. This is where you see how serious he is. He got his helicopter license, then his airplane license, then multi-engine instrument, then a jet rating, then his helicopter instrument rating. He took every single one to the highest level. Most pilots never come close to that many ratings. Cletus went and got them all. Why go that far? His answer is simple. The more you know, the safer you can be. He flies his friends around, so he wants to know everything in front of him. He wants to understand every part of the machine, and they buy the best gear they can. We have excellent equipment. He says the money they make lets them fly with the safest tools out there. He says flying feels a lot like driving. It's still energy management. You feel it in your seat. You feel the angle of the plane. Fly it within its limits, and it's safe. The same skill that keeps a drift car under control keeps a plane under control too. And the plane is more than a toy. It's a tool. He can be in Charlotte in 2 hours flat. He can knock out 10 different things in one day, then be home for dinner with his kids. That is life-changing for me. The helicopters are a little different. He says he doesn't really need those. He keeps them because they're awesome. He is honest about that too. But that helicopter did something money can't buy. When Hurricane Helene hit, Cletus and Biffle used their helicopters to help people. And Cletus says that machine is the reason the two became close. If I didn't have it, I would have never really became good friends with Biff. They reached a lot of folks up there. It was rough country and a rough time. He calls it a very memorable moment in his life. Then he says something that tells you exactly who he is. Helicopter pilots love any excuse to fly. If you got a buddy with a helicopter, you call that guy and tell him there's a cat stuck in a tree, he's going to get it out. He'd go save the cat in a heartbeat, so flying out to help storm victims meant everything to him. Kenny sees something bigger in it. He tells Cletus the helicopter was never a need, but it landed in his hands, and he used it to help save lives. He says Cletus paid it forward. That machine opened doors that would never have opened without it. Then comes the wildest part, the timing. Cletus worked on that helicopter for years, and it got finished the week before the storm. It was like, this thing's ready for you. Go do something with it. He almost sounds shocked when he says it, like the timing was too perfect to be an accident. So the loud car guy from YouTube has a whole other life in the sky. He's a pilot with ratings most people never earn. He turned a childhood love of RC planes into a skill that helped people on their worst day. And a helicopter he swears he didn't need became the reason for a friendship he'll never forget. That is the secret Cletus just shared with Kenny Wallace. And it might be the best story he has ever told. It shows there's a lot more to this man than smoke and noise. Behind the burnouts is a skilled pilot with a big, giving heart of gold.